On this Roots and Reflections, we're going to explore the original heart of ancient Jerusalem, known as the City of David. This was the Shalem of Genesis, where Melchizedek or Melchizedek blessed the patriarch Abraham 4,000 years ago. The City of David strides the ridge known as the Eastern Hill, which runs south of the Temple Mount and today is outside the walls of Jerusalem. The ridge is strategically surrounded on three sides by valleys, including the Kidron and the Tyropoeon. Today, the outline of the City of David is clearly visible even from a distance. The Canaanite city was well fortified, perched above the area's only water source, the Gihon Spring. The Bible and the Egyptian Amarna letters testify that Jerusalem was a prominent city in the 2nd millennium BC. It would have been the logical site for King David to establish his new capital, replacing Hebron.
On this Roots and Reflections, we are exploring the City of David. There is so much to see around here.
Joshua failed to conquer Jebusite Jerusalem, and it wasn't until 2 centuries later that King David captured and refortified the city. Most importantly, David brought the Ark of the Covenant to his new capital, thus exalting its status to God's chosen place. So, the location of the binding of Isaac by Abraham on nearby Mount Moriah became the focus of Israelite sacrificial ritual for over 1,000 years until the destruction of the Second Temple.
Excavations here in the City of David have uncovered the Palace of David, which now has deflated the skeptics, the biblical minimalists, who just claimed that King David was another mythological hero of sorts. But now we know he was the great King David in the city of Jerusalem. Then David dwelt in the stronghold and called it the City of David. And David built all around from the Millo and inward. So David went on and became great, and the Lord God of hosts was with him.
Humanistic peer pressure seems to keep Israeli archaeologists from expressing opinions in favor of the Bible, even when evidence supports the contention that this was a royal center in the 10th century BC. 2 Samuel says, "And they built David a house." The exposed walls of David's palace are below this metal grating.
Miss Mazar was very lucky. She finds some structures made of very large boulders. You can see these structures, and you can see them continuing over there. These very large remains of building, they consist of a wall which is 30 meters long, a very long building. It's for sure a public building. It was found built upon some layers of accumulation upon bedrock, and those layers of accumulation included pottery of the 11th century BC, Jebusite pottery, from the time of the Jebusites. So we assume the building is of the 10th century. More than that, on top of one of the walls here, there was a seal impression, a small clay lump with an inscription, Yehochal, son of Shelemiyahu, son of Shovai. 3 generations. The gentleman, Yehochal, son of Shelemiyahu, is mentioned twice in the book of Jeremiah. So in Jeremiah's time, this building was already in ruins, and the seal impression was resting upon one of the walls. So the building's date is sandwiched between what is above it and between what is underneath it. And it was found out that over there, where the tree grows, the green tree, that is the eastern wall of this building, and it is well preserved. It is a very thick wall, even thicker than the present-day old city's wall. It is a very massive wall, and it belongs to the same building that we have here. Over there, a small chamber was found. In any case, in that small chamber, they found some pottery vessels, intact ones, which were left there when the building went on for further later uses. That chamber was forgotten somehow, and they left some of the original pottery from the initial use of the building, and the pottery was of the 10th century BC, including one vessel made in Cyprus, which is dated independently there to the 10th century. Eilat Mazar, the excavator, suggested this is nothing else but David's palace, which is mentioned in 2 Samuel chapter 5, and it is written there that Hiram, king of Tyre, came and helped David with manpower and with building materials to build his palace in Jerusalem.
And the question of whether or not this is the palace, well, we didn't find a plaque that says this throne room dedicated by Hiram of Tyre. Okay, we didn't find that. But there's a lot of circumstantial evidence that suggests it.
This is the top of the hill, right over here. Eilat Mazar said that she was going to find the king must live at the top of the hill. That's according to scripture also. That is where it's supposed to be. And started digging. Anyway, which room King David was, I'm not sure if it's actually this room over here, maybe the room over there, or the room over there. It's somewhere in this building, very much probably.
With this shield of David, the Magen David, I proclaim, hail to the King, O Son of David.
Much of our City of David tour takes us underground. That's because the ancient water system has remained intact for thousands of years. The problem faced by residents back then was that the Gihon Spring was outside the city wall, and various methods were developed to access the water via tunnels in time of siege, and towers built to protect the precious water source.
This is the descent to Warren's Shaft, named after Charles Warren, who first discovered this in 1867. It is quite an archaeological dig. I'd say somebody gave Warren the shaft. This shaft was used by the Jebusites to draw water from the Gihon Spring, especially during times of siege. However, the Jebusites mocked David and his men, saying they could never conquer the city, Jerusalem. David's men used this very water shaft, or water course known as tsinor in Hebrew, which also means pipe, to go through it via the Gihon Spring up to Jerusalem to conquer the city. The city that David conquered was originally known as Jebus, named after the Jebusites. David would develop this city, but it was his son Solomon who would expand it further, adding the Temple Mount and building a palace for himself made of the cedars of Lebanon and fortifications around the Gihon Spring.
The Gihon Spring provided drinking water and irrigation for fields in the Kidron Valley. During David's reign, the tabernacle stood near the spring. Here Solomon was anointed king. So Tzadok the priest went down and had Solomon ride on King David's mule and took him to Gihon. Then Tzadok took a horn of oil from the tabernacle and anointed Solomon, and they blew the horn.
Stay up to date with what's happening in Israel and the Jewish and Arab people with up-to-the-minute information and news from a biblical perspective. Sign up today to the Jerusalem News Network, a wealth of free information, comment, and up-to-date news direct from believers living in the land. This includes our regular Jerusalem on the Line email update, now available in multiple languages. To sign up, go to rootsforyou.tv. This is the best way to keep informed of what's going on in Israel.
Eli Shukron of the Israel Antiquities Authority is the archaeologist in charge of excavating the lower City of David area, including the Gihon Spring and the Pool of Siloam.
In the Gihon Spring we are working more than 10 years, and what we found there a tower from the Middle Bronze period, before 3,800 years, that protect the spring, protect the city in this area, and bring the water into the city and protect the water, because the water is the life of the city.
Eli hit the right word. Mayim, or water, our word of the week, a vital commodity for life in Jerusalem.
Pure waters for a golden city.
Water from the Gihon was used in temple rituals, including the water libation ceremony during Sukkot, the Feast of Tabernacles. More about Mayim later in the program.
These tennies are for Hezekiah's tunnel, but I've got a friend that told me the best scuba diving in Jerusalem is right here. Da 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 da. No more looking. Lesson number 1 in snorkeling: when below the water, breathe, and when above the water, don't forget to breathe again. Man, it's cold. You've got to come and do this. This is a lifetime experience. Hezekiah's tunnel. Let's be a light to others. On Roots and Reflections, we absorb so much history. And just to think, there's a river under Jerusalem.
Hezekiah's tunnel is of course named in honor of King Hezekiah of Judah, who dug the water tunnel as part of his defensive measures against Sennacherib, king of Assyria, who laid siege to Jerusalem in 701 BC. According to Chronicles, this same Hezekiah also stopped the water outlet of Upper Gihon and brought water by tunnel to the west side of the city of David. The new water system was an extraordinary engineering feat, a 533-meter conduit through sheer rock. In 1880, an ancient Hebrew inscription was discovered in Hezekiah's tunnel. The original was taken to Istanbul, but this copy is in Jerusalem's Israel Museum. The inscription from the First Temple period reads, "The tunneling has been completed. Here is how it happened. As the tunnelers wielded the pickaxe, each man toward his fellow, and as 3 cubits remained to be cut through, a man's voice calling to his fellow was heard, for there was a crack in the rock on the right and the left. When the tunnel was driven through, the hewers hacked each toward the other, pickaxe against pickaxe, and the water flowed from the spring to the pool a distance of 1,200 cubits, and the height of the rock above the heads of the hewers was 100 cubits.
Coming up here is where the tunnelers met, digging from both ends. How did the two tunnelers meet to begin with? Well, rather than dig from 2 points in a straight line, which they never would have met, they actually do it in a kind of an S form. That's how they met. The chances were much greater this way. Oh, sorry. There's air. Jaws! Jaws is coming. Boom, 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 boom.
For 1,500 years, everyone thought the biblical pool of Siloam was here at the exit of Hezekiah's tunnel, a Byzantine pool with remains of a church. However, excavations since 2004 have revealed that the channel continued further to a much larger pool to which Hezekiah diverted the water from the Gihon. In the Second Temple period, the pool lay at the furthest southern corner within Jerusalem's walls.
This is the pool, how it looks from the time of Jesus, 2,000 years. Now, the pool of Siloam, the original pool, it's down over here. But we found only these 2 corners, and these 2 corners, what we found with the steps. The rest of it goes under a garden, which is belong for the Greek Orthodox Church, and we don't have a permission to dig the whole pool.
1,500 years, we believe that the Siloam pool is the end of the Hezekiah tunnel, but now we understand that all the garden down, all this area, we're talking about 1 acre or 2 dunam of area, was part of the pool. And this pool was built as a step that the people can go into the water to make a ritual bath, to go to the temple, all that. This is the life of Jerusalem from the Second Temple period.
In John chapter 9, verse 6, it says, "And he, Jesus, or Yeshua, anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay. And he said to him, Go wash in the pool of Siloam," or in Hebrew we say Shiloach, which is translated sent. So he went and washed and came back seeing. This is an incredible sight here at the pool of Siloam.
We know that Jesus was a Jew. When he came to Jerusalem, he came as a Jew. And he came to the Siloam pool and he go to the temple. This is the way, this is the places where everything happened.
I know a lot of people, Christians, people, they come here and they touch the water, they put in their eyes.
Wow, I don't need my glasses anymore.
Actually, this time the waters didn't really help with my reading, but there's always hope. On the road back up to David's palace, we come across the latest discovery in the city of David, the underground drainage channel used by Jews to escape the Roman onslaught of 70 AD.
When we start the excavation, we want to find the street from the Second Temple period, the main street that connects the Siloam pool with the temple. What we found a tunnel under the street.
The relevance of the street had to do with the destruction of the temple, is that correct?
Josephus Flavius, in his book, The Jewish War, talking about the people that ran away from the Roman by the tunnel. And we found that tunnel, this tunnel underground, under the street. No one see him, and then they ran away to the desert from here, to the desert, to Jericho, to the Dead Sea from this area.
Archaeology 101. Wear a strong hat in case a rock hits you. It's amazing that history is just being uncovered bucket by bucket, pottery shard by pottery shard, coin by coin. Can you imagine 70 AD, the Jewish inhabitants of the city escaping through a drainage duct leading out of Jerusalem as the city itself is under siege? This is an incredible find.
The newly discovered drainage channel, buried beneath rubble for 20 centuries, was mentioned by the ancient Jewish historian Josephus Flavius as a place where people hid from flames engulfing Jerusalem under Roman attack. The roof is formed by the heavy paving stone slabs of the Second Temple period street above. Excavations continue. With an expected length of 1 kilometer, the drainage tunnel stretched from the Temple Mount to the Pool of Siloam and may have exited into the Kidron Valley, which then flowed to the Dead Sea. Even today, this serves as the main sewage outflow of East Jerusalem.
And look at the height on this place. This wasn't just any small drainage tunnel. This was big. I think I'll help out, you know. The quicker we uncover this, the more we see history unveiling the secrets of our past and continuing forward to our future. This is an archaeological bag to shovel the dirt into, and that's what we're going to do. We notice shards of pottery. Actually, this is shaped in a form like David's harp, found here in the city of David. Is it very possible in this whole area of the city of David that if we were to lift off the entire surface, we would find a whole nother city?
Yeah. Oh, we can found the city from the First Temple period.
By giving to the work of Roots and Reflections, you bless Israel. Your gift enables us to bring you this program and also supports our humanitarian work in Israel. As you support us, we're able to continue to educate the body of Christ worldwide on the significance of Israel. Consider giving a one-time donation or become a monthly partner with Vision for Israel. Please call the number on the screen now or go to our website at rootsforyou.tv and become a partner with us today.
After a dig like that and visiting the springs, it's time to get our word of the week. In Hebrew is mayim, which is water. Fresh water, mineral water, one for me and another one for me. I'm thirsty. How do you say mayim in Arabic?
Mai.
Mai? Mai in Arabic and mayim in Hebrew, and water for all of the rest of you. When you come visit Israel, you must drink lots of mayim. There's a word that we hear all the time, and it's so important for people. It's the word mayim. What can you tell me about mayim?
It's water. It keeps you hydrated. It's fun to swim in. It keeps you clean when you take a shower. It's good.
And how do you say it in Hebrew?
Mayim.
Yeah, it's water. It's drink it. There isn't too much water in it, so that's why you have to be careful. Every drop counts.
Here we are at the city of David, and this looks to be David's harp. Well, let's try and string a few notes, or hear the real thing.
For our Roots and Reflections music interlude, we visit Micha and Shoshana Harari. Though they don't live in the city of David, they maintain a tradition that originates in David's capital, the manufacture and playing of Davidic harps.
This is made from mahogany, too.
And this has the 8 strings.
This is the 8-string model, yes.
So this could be the latest instrument for the up-and-coming progressive rock groups.
Well, actually, we're Levites, so we manufacture instruments for Levites. And we expect that this will be a very good instrument for the temple.
You
very
know,
simple,
Bhakti and I are
easy to
both
play.
Levites.
Yeah, for sure.
She is too?
Yeah, that explains our love for music.
Right, ours too. Although Shoshi's a Cohen, but what can you do?
He lets me be in the family.
Somebody had to be a priest and somebody had to be a prophet. That's beautiful.
Very loud too. It's also can be fitted with an electric pickup. David actually made instruments, and it said that he had a shop where he built harps. So we're also continuing in that tradition. The harp is the symbol of Israel anyway. It's the national instrument, and it was played by many, many people in those days, by the prophets. The prophets would never prophesy before a harp was played. Also, the kings wouldn't. And in the temple, there was up to 4,000 different harps played. 4,000 harps played at once.
At the beginning, when the world was created, God spoke the world into existence. He spoke the world into existence with the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, which actually you can probably see carved into this harp right here. Each string has also a letter, or called an ot, or otiot. So there's Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, and all the way up. And so as God spoke the world into existence through these letters, they formed into different patterns and words and created light. As it says, one of the first things that he said, let there be light, and there was light. So sound and light go together.
So our word of the week is mime,
wow,
which is mem, yud, mem. Mm-hmm. So how would that sound on David's harp?
Okay, let's hear it. Yuffie.
It sounds like a light trickle of water.
It does, listen. But then there's the Talmud. The Talmud are Jewish writings, volumes and volumes of them that were written during the time of the temple and after. And a lot of the descriptions that are written in there actually have to do with the temple, what was going on in the temple. There were, for example, 4,000 Levites, of which we are, you and I and your family and our family are all part of. And they were the musicians. They played. They had a certain schedule. Twice a day, the music went on. They never had a sacrifice without the music. It just could not happen. There were so many harps played that it says the sound of the harp was heard in Jericho without an amplifier or microphone. That means they had thousands of harps playing. And also it says that the daughters, the sons and the daughters of Levi played. So the daughters were involved too.
Many people have requested the recipes Batia has been using in the programs to try at home, and we are delighted that we are now able to make them available. They can be downloaded from our website, roots4u.tv, or you can email a request for them to barry@roots4u.tv and we will send them to you. We plan to regularly add new recipes, so make sure you click the sign up button on the website.
Touring Jerusalem makes one thirsty, so drink lots of mime, but it makes one hungry also. As long as we're on the subject of King David, let's find food appropriate to his reign. Let's try the King David Hotel, offering a menu fit for royalty.
I am hungry. We need a food break. Let's go chow down at the King David Coffee Shop restaurant. Shalom. Here's a nice spot for two. I believe that will be me and you. Hello. Well, I've heard that you have some of the best cheese and raisin blintzes around. Okay. So cheese and raisin blintzes and 2 orders. One for me and one for all my friends. Now this is like my grandmother used to make. She was from Russia. And you have the applesauce and a bit of sour cream. The best blintzes in Jerusalem, right here. Well, King David's cheese blintzes are good to the last bite. Now finish yours. One for me, one for you. You did a great job. See you in the next program.